Awesome, 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 awesome. Welcome, guys. I know it is Sunday evening. My name is Jesse Belvin. I'm a founding consultant here with Jax. So if you're new, welcome. If you're not new, welcome. I know that, it's getting closer to Christmas time. You guys could be doing anything else, but you're on here, like I said, sharpening your axe, making sure that you're able to take your business to another level. And I want to commend you for that. Here's some exciting news. I'm trying something different tonight. I'm actually recording this. Hopefully, everything goes smooth. This is the first time I've tried to record anything with this program, so we'll see how it works. And if it does work, I will make sure I upload it onto YouTube and get it so people can, who weren't able to make it, can check it out. If it doesn't work, well, congratulations for being on here anyways. So what we're going to talk about here tonight is the 72-hour training program. Just to give a little bit about my background in case anybody is new, we're going to be having people dial in from all over the United States. But like I said, just to give you a little bit about my background, I've pretty much done it all. I've been an entrepreneur for about 5 years now, almost 5 years in January. I'm 27 years old, almost 28. And, I've been fortunate enough to have a lot of success in this industry, okay, it very quickly too. And the reason was, there was a lot of reasons. Obviously, I'm a hard worker. I'm consistent, and I don't make excuses. And we'll go over all those principles here in just a little bit. But if you are new, like I said, welcome. This is very important. You're going to want to take notes. If you're not new, definitely still probably want to take notes. I usually throw in something different every time I go over this, so it is a good thing that people that have heard this, get back on here because chances are they will listen. They will hear something different. So we're going to be talking about the 72-hour training program. Now, why is it called the 72-hour training program? A lot of leaders in network marketing, they either believe, you'll either hear them talk about 48 hours or 72 hours. And what that essentially means is this. You want to make sure that any new representative in your organization, right, or in the company period, gets plugged in and gets trained, gets launched. I like to call it launched, right? Gets launched within that period of time. And here's why. Because they're going to be excited. They're going to be their most excited they've ever been in that beginning gap, right, when you bring them in. But the problem is they don't really know how to present the information to others. So a lot of times what's going to happen is they're going to go talk to the people that they know will do this business. They know will support their business. And what they find out really quickly is it doesn't always work like that. Maybe you vomit on them, you verbally vomit, you talk about this, that, the other thing, you really don't know how to pitch it, and then somebody makes fun of you that, you're supposed to be a good friend or a family member, and then that person feels like crap, and then, and you have somebody that's no longer doing the business. And so it's really important to really kind of set up expectations, talk about goals, and really just launch the person correctly. Get them on the right plan. Get them to know why they're doing the business, and so on. But like I said, the big thing is to really set the expectations because it isn't all rainbows and butterflies. Business is business. This is the way it works. There's ups and there's downs, and it's our job as a sponsor, if you're doing it correctly, to kind of manage those expectations and really help your new, I guess, brand partner, rep, whatever you want to call it, get off to a fast start. Okay, and that's why we talk about 48 hours to 72 hours. A good analogy for it is, you'd never go 48 hours, you never go 24 hours without feeding your newborn baby, but let's just say 48 hours, 72 hours, right? They would die if you didn't do that, right? That's what this is all about. You want to make sure you are feeding your new rep, right? Getting them on the right path and getting them launched correctly. So that's what we're going to talk about here tonight. I will never, ever, ever claim to be a master recruiter. Okay, I've worked with a lot of people that have been better recruiters than I am. But the reason I've had success is because as soon as I bring somebody into the business, that's where I really shine. Okay, I want to get the most out of everybody, right? I want to get them to their maximum potential. I want to create leaders. I want to create duplication, and that's what the 72-hour training program is all about. Now, why a 72-hour training program other than what I've already said? Helps you focus, right? Or helps to focus you, the new Jax independent rep, right, on activities that are simple, productive, repeatable, and motivational, right? I'll pick on repeatable here just for a second. It's all about duplication, okay? The reason you do network marketing, the reason you get in an industry like this, especially with the timing that we have here with Jax, is so that someday, God willing, you don't have to do it, right? If the only way that happens is if you create leaders, and they create leaders, and so on and so forth. So we're not here to teach people how to fish. Okay? I'm not here to teach you how to fish. I'm here to teach you how to teach how to fish. Okay? So that's what it's all about, duplication. You're here to create leaders. All right? And success stories, and you name it, right? But it's got to be duplicatable. And that's what the 72-hour training program is all about. If you are unwilling or unable to follow this, there are only two possibilities as to why. That a game plan or system was not enthusiastically endorsed by your sponsor. Here's what you don't have to worry about. On Sunday nights, you don't have to worry about that. The reason is because we pick the best of the best, Jax, to deliver this message to people, and it will always be enthusiastically endorsed, right? Always. Now, the reason we came up with this is because we wanted to make sure that even if somebody's in Kentucky, Delaware, Arkansas, Florida, does not matter, Hawaii, right? It does not matter. That they can plug themselves in, their people in, and everybody gets launched correctly. But notice how it says 72 hours. What that means is you don't want to go over 72 hours before launching them. So if you bring somebody in on a Monday, my recommendation for you is don't wait for the next Sunday, right? If you don't know how to do it, get somebody to help you. Okay, we have the best leadership in all of this industry and all of network marketing. And my recommendation for you is definitely get off to a fast start, get your person off to a fast start. So don't wait. But if you are feeling like you're not the best launcher in the world, right? Well, then definitely you need to be on here on Sunday nights, sharpening your axe. Now here's number two, right? Number two, if you are unwilling to or unable to follow this, here's the other reason. You have been given the mistaken notion that big money in network marketing can be earned by working during convenient moments. I mean, here's the honest truth. And this is not speaking to the people that just want to make like $100 or $200 or $300 a month. This is for the people that say, listen, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm looking for something different on the side of my job. I'm looking for something different on the side of my retirement. I've got to create something special here. I know I can do this. Okay, for the people that want to go out there and make big money in network marketing, okay, this is why it says big money in network marketing. It's going to take inconvenient moments and hours, right? It's going to take less. You're not going to be able to sleep as much, right? And you're not going to be able to go out as much. This is the best example I can give you, right? A jet or a plane uses the most energy possible out of the entire flight getting off the runway. Once it gets up into the air, it kind of grinds, right? The power kind of goes down to a minimum. Okay, but just to get off the runway, it uses up so much fuel and so much energy just to get that lift, and that's what this is all about. Okay, it's about really buckling down for a short period of time. That's what entrepreneurship is. It's working now like others aren't willing to work, so you can have later on a life that others aren't able to have. Okay, and I've figured that out, firsthand. I was made fun of and teased and called every name in the book you could think of when I first got into this industry. I also did it wrong. I was mass messaging people and doing all this crazy stuff, but I wouldn't trade lives with anybody I went to school with. Nobody, not one person. And I think I make more money than everybody, but even if I didn't, even if there were like one or two people that were surprising, my hour per dollar ratio cannot be touched as far as work goes. But how I got there is by working my butt off, skipping. I remember it was New Year's Eve, and I remember my wife and I, we had 2 glasses of champagne, one for her, one for me, paperwork all over the living room, and we were planning out our 2016. And hopefully that this, kind of inspires you, because obviously we're here again, right? 2017 is coming, New Year's is coming. And I'm not telling anybody to skip out on New Year's Eve. That's not what I'm telling you. What I'm telling you is the people that make it are the people that are willing to put in the work and be consistent and sacrifice. And that's what we were here to, that's what we were able to do, and that's what we continue to do. So if you have been given the mistaken notion that big money in network marketing can be earned by working just during convenient moments, man, well, I don't want to say you were lied to, but you were misinformed. Definitely. Right, now list your goals. How much money, right? Okay, let's just talk about this right now, okay? So why did you get involved with Jax? This is about 90% of the launch. It's so important because generally speaking, the first answer that somebody gives you when you bring them in is going to be not really all the answer, right? They're going to be like, oh man, I want to make some money. Well, why do you want to make money? Well, I really want to be able to help my mom out. They'll give you like this noble answer. I want to help my mom out. Okay, I can buy it. Why do you want to help your mom out? Well, it's because she supported me. She's working 40 hours a week, and she doesn't have much of a retirement saved up, and X, Y, and Z. Okay, I get it. All right, awesome. Now tell me what that would look like, right? I want you to actually tell me what it would look like walking in, telling her, hey, listen, you're retired. Like, what would that look like? You want to get them. You want to dig. You want to get them to really visualize it. And here's why. Because most of us, as we got older, as we grew up, right? It was no longer cool to say you wanted to be Spider-Man or the president or an astronaut, right? All of a sudden it was like, well, no, you need to just go to school, get good grades so you can get a good job. You need a 401k. And if you got off of that path, like, you're screwed, right? And then we find out, well, even if you're on that path, you still might be screwed. So people, they beat us up and they make us feel like we have to be like kind of be inside this box, when really it's the people that get out of that box and really dream big and think big and know without a shadow of a doubt that they can get there. Those are the people that really go out there and make it. It's the crazy ones, as Steve Jobs said, that really changed the world. It's the crazy ones, right? We're the crazy ones. But it's important as a sponsor to really help them kind of break through that box and really dig into why they want to do Jax. Because there's going to be ups and there's going to be downs, and it's important to know why you're doing it. Now, obviously, most people will say, well, I want to make money. Okay, well, then we move up, and if you're looking at this webinar, then you're looking up, right? How much money do you want to make for each month for the next 12 months, right? So month 1, 2, 3, and so on. And here's why this is important, okay? Because nobody's doing this, putting in work. If you're putting in work, nobody's wanting to do this and put in work and sacrifice all stuff and not get paid. I sure hope not. Nobody should be doing this just for the social events and just to talk to people and hang around people. If that is you, that's cool. But like I said, I'm here to talk to the people that want to go out there and create something special in their lives. So if I'm sitting with you and I say, month 1, what do you want to make? And you say $10,000, okay. That's a really tough number to hit, in this company with the compensation plan the way we have. Now, we have benefits to our comp plan that a lot of companies don't. But as far as going out there and making $10,000 in your first month, it will be very difficult to do. But okay, I'll write it down. Time invested. How much time are you willing to do? Well, they might say, oh, I give an hour a week, 2 hours a week. Okay, so then my question for that person, like let's say his name is John, I'd be like, John, what do you know you can go do for an hour a week or 2 hours a week and make 10 grand a month in your first month of trying? What do you know that you can go do? Because if you know something, I'll quit what I'm doing right now and go do what you're going to go do. Because that's insane. That's crazy, right? So it's your job as a sponsor to kind of, like I said, manage those expectations. I don't know anything where you can go do that, because I'm telling you, if I could invest 2 hours a week and make 10 grand in my first month, I would do it. Right? That'd be crazy. 8 hours of work for $10,000 is great. Okay, but it doesn't really exist. So it's important to just really manage those expectations. I hate realistic expectations, realistic goals, but it's important. The reason is because you want goals to get hit, especially in the beginning. Because what that's going to do is it's going to unlock belief for that longer, that longer vision, that longer goal, that bigger goal, that year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 year goal. Okay, so you want to make sure that they're not just getting their butt kicked for a year straight because they had this unrealistic expectation of how this goes. Okay? So then you want to, like I said, you want to ask them how much time they're willing to put in the business, make sure it's a realistic expectation. Okay, that's what this page is really all about. Now, by the way, this can be found in your back office. PDF section under resources, you can download it. My recommendation for you, especially if you're recruiting somebody who's local, go sit with them in a coffee shop, sit down with them in their place, and walk them through this. Make sure they have a copy, make sure you have a copy, be professional. But if they aren't local, this is a good tool to have, this Sunday night webinar. And like I said, we are recording this. Make a list of everyone you know. Now check this out, okay? It says 100 names on here. I know you guys can see that. I'm telling you, screw that, right? Be a teacher's pet. I hated you in high school, right, if you were a teacher's pet, but guess what? I'm telling you to be a teacher's pet here. If I say 100 names, come back with 350. Come back with 450. Come back with 1,000, right? The average person knows 200 people, okay? The average person knows 200 people. So if you want to, if you're supposed to write down a list, the idea is to write down a list of every single person you've ever met. Now, if you're only coming with 100 names, okay, there's something wrong. Let me see your Facebook. Let me see your cell phone, right? Chances are you're prejudging people, which you shouldn't do. Now, the list, our inventory is people. And we're in a people business, okay? You're going to have customers. You're going to have other brand reps that want to help you build business, okay? Your inventory is people. Well, how are you going to keep track of it? You got to write everybody down. Don't prejudge. Okay, I'm telling you not to prejudge. You'll probably prejudge anyways, but don't do it. And here's why. It's because you're not pitching every single person you put on your list. A lot of times you'll put people down that you think, oh, they're not going to do it. But guess what? If you put them down, they might unlock somebody in your head that you weren't thinking of who will do it. I talk about this all the time. My brother's friend, I didn't want to put my brother down on my list. You know, I was like, oh man, he'll never do this. But I put him down on the list, and he unlocked somebody in my head who I wasn't thinking about. That person was responsible for one of my big major runs in my first company. I wouldn't even have thought of that guy had I not put my brother down. Don't prejudge people. Just because they're on your list doesn't mean you have to go pitch them, right? But here's the little tip that I want to give you. The people you think won't do this business will. The people you think will do this business won't. The people you think won't be good will, and the people you think will be good won't. Okay? Bring in a salesman who's at, oh, I've had 20 years of sales. I've seen them get beat up in an industry like this because it's not sales, right? You're just sharing a product and you're being the most liked person in the room. That's it, right? That's what network marketing is. Okay? So who are the key people you're excited about? Right? Write them down. Who are the next best people? Write them down. Look for people with leadership qualities. I like to say, look for people who are successful professionals and possibly even have experience with this kind of a product, right? Alarm dealers, locksmiths, electricians, real estate agents, you name it, right? That I would definitely have them, and I'd have them highlighted on your list for sure. Okay, by the way, just to go back here, I'm telling you to do this. This is the most skipped step of any launch ever. Most people don't feel like they need to do it because it's in their cell phone or it's on their Facebook or, oh, it's all up in my head. No. Write them down. The people that don't write this down, they will get beat up in this industry. The people that write this down, well, they still might get beat up, but at least they have this down. I promise you this, nobody that gets off to a fast start has not written people down on a list. It just does not exist. It doesn't work like that. Definitely don't skip this step. Now learn how to do a three-way call. This is very, very important. I'm going to spend a little more time on this than I usually do. Okay, every single person you share or you show the opportunity of Jax to, every single person, you should try to be closing them out at the end with a three-way call or getting a three-way party involved somehow. Maybe you have that person come to a coffee shop with you. I don't know, but you want to use third party. Okay, here's why. The more people know you, which is going to be the people you, generally speaking, have on your list, and you show this too, right? The more people know you, the less they respect you. Okay? The more people know you, the less they respect you. This is not, I'm not condemning anybody. I'm not saying anything weird. This is the fact. Here's why. Think about it like this. Think about any date you've ever been on. The very first date you were with, let's think about somebody you've been on multiple dates with, right? The very first date you were with, you were probably scared, nervous to say something, say the wrong thing, you held the door open for them, whatever. Let's fast forward years later. You go back on a date with them. Let's say now, right, they're cold. Oh man, I'm so cold. You'd be like, I told you to bring a jacket. I told you to bring a jacket. What, are you crazy? Right? It's just because you feel comfortable with them. You've seen them during their highs. You've seen them during their lows, right? But let's kind of, I guess, circle this back around. Once you put them on the phone with somebody to help close it out, who they've never met, even if that person says the same stuff, they're going to respect that opinion a lot more because they don't know them, right? If somebody is selling you a car, the first person that's showing you the cars is not the person that closes you out, right? There's always that closer, that person that comes in to make sure everything gets done. You want to make sure you're putting them on a three-way call. And you're not asking them. You're sharing them the information. Have it pre-scheduled with the person you're going to put them on the phone with, right? Text them, let them know. And then you're just like, hey, listen, I was telling my friend about you. He's killing it in the business. He knows all the information. His story is awesome. Anyways, I was talking his ear off about you, and he says he wants to jump on a call with you and share a story and hear yours. That's cool, right? I mean, 9 times out of 10, they'll say, yeah, that's cool. The worst thing anyone's ever said to me when I word it like that is, well, how long is it going to take? And I say, oh, it's going to be real quick. And then they're cool with it. Right? If Brad Pitt were going to be on the other line, if I was going to put you on a three-way call with Brad Pitt, I wouldn't even ask. I'd be like, oh, that's definitely all right, right? I mean, it'd be crazy if you didn't want to be on the phone with Brad Pitt. That's how you got to talk. That's how you got to word it. But guess what? I don't bring in anybody into this company, nobody, without a three-way call. Nobody. Okay? And I haven't for years in this industry. So don't do it. Don't try to be the person that goes out and closes people out because your ratio will be horrible. It's like I've always been taught, be Scottie Pippen. Pass it over to Michael Jordan, right? Don't be mad that you're Scottie Pippen during this, right? Because you're going to be the one that makes money. Pass it over to Michael Jordan. Let Michael Jordan do what Michael Jordan does. Now, watch out for dream stealers. This is essentially the biggest reason that I tell people to make sure that they're getting 48-hour, 72-hour launches done. Because there are going to be people out there, God bless them, right, who don't make any money, who are going to give you financial advice. It's the craziest thing in the world. I just did a training on this. The reason they do that is because they're scared to death that people around them are trying to succeed, because it reminds them that they're still in the same spot they've been for a long time. These are dream stealers, right? The people that tell you, oh, don't go to the gym doesn't work. Like, the gym doesn't work? What are you talking about? Right? You just go, eat right, you stay consistent, you go out there and do it. Like, that would be goofy if somebody told you the gym doesn't work, right? We'd all laugh at them. And then all of a sudden you have somebody who's broke, who failed in this industry, tell you that, oh, that doesn't work. Even though we know hundreds of thousands of people that have had massive success in this industry. I know people that have made millions of dollars a month. You're going to tell me it doesn't work? That's crazy, right? So watch out for dream stealers. It's the crab effect. Try to pull a crab out of a bucket full of crabs. Tell me what the other crabs do. They grab on and they try to pull it back. We can't explain it. It just happens. Always check the source, you guys. Always check the source of the dream stealers. If they don't have the life that you want in the industry or topic that you're trying to go after, check the source. You know, I would take golf lessons from Tiger Woods. I definitely, right? I wouldn't take marriage advice. I would assume he'd take marriage advice from me. I've got a great marriage, right? But I wouldn't take marriage advice from him. He's sitting there going, oh, don't get married. You know, marriage is overrated. You know, I'd be like, oh, okay. Well, you know, I would definitely take marriage advice from him if he told me what not to do, right? Because he's experienced that. You guys see what I'm saying, right? Check the source. Okay, hold on one second. Now, attend meetings and presentations. Okay, you'll start seeing a lot more of these as things pop up. Right, we're still a baby company. Different areas are starting to launch. Different areas are starting to pop up. Okay, but if you have a weekly event, or you have an in-home event, here are some key principles. Right, block out weekly meetings on your calendar. You know, if you don't have a weekly meeting, you definitely need to be on these webinars. You definitely need to be getting people in front of the information. Right, we have opportunity webinars. We have a Monday night opportunity call. You know, make sure you're attending these things. Because if we go back to how many hours you're willing to put in to go out there and have success, I mean, these webinars generally go from 30 to 40 minutes. There's only a couple a week. What else are you actually doing? Right? It's not that much time you're actually putting in on the side of whatever else you're already doing. So block out weekly meetings on your calendar and webinars. Dress code, dress professional. Right? I like to tell people, hey, listen, dress one step above the people who are in your audience. If you're in Southern California and you're talking to a bunch of people with, you know, board shorts and tank tops, don't show up in a suit, because they're probably going to be like, I can't do what this guy's doing on the side of whatever else I'm already doing. But if you show up in some nice jeans and a V-neck, right, or whatever the equivalent is for girls, okay, that might not freak them out so bad. But if you're talking to professionals, real estate agents, alarm dealers, you name it, hey, you probably want to dress up really sharp. Definitely, especially if you're doing like a trade show. You definitely want to look sharp, right? Never be late. That's in anything. Always be on time. Right, and then if this is, you know, like a meeting, hotel meeting, you know, in-home event, whatever, I talk to your guests before, right, before the meeting, you know, kind of to tee them up. Never send a guest to a meeting unattended. This also goes for webinars. Don't just send people on the webinars. I mean, how are you going to tell somebody to do something, to attend something that you're not at? If it's somebody who's not local, like if I had somebody in Connecticut, I would make sure I hit up leadership in Connecticut to say, hey, listen, watch out for this person. You know, one of our founders did a really great job of that in Texas the other day, down in Houston. You know, I reached out to him. I said, hey, listen, can you watch out for one of my good friends? He's going to be down there. And sure enough, he took care of him. That was awesome, right? Never recruit somebody else's guest, okay? And go over the meeting dates and times. Provide as much information as possible to help support the independent reps and their guests. Priorities and time management. This is huge. This is absolutely huge. Make a daily to-do list. I call it daily methods of operation. These are stuff that everybody can do no matter what their schedule is, right? I firmly believe that everybody can at least present or get the information to 2 new prospects a day. I believe that everybody can at least do 10 to 15 minutes of personal development a day, right? If you're not growing, you're dying. I've been in for 5 years. I'm still personally developing every single day. I'm not a strong reader either. I'll make sure I do like a YouTube audio if I have to, okay? But I'm making sure that I'm personally developing every day. Number three, I would say definitely, stay in touch with your team, your focus group. There's always going to be the group of the runners, the people that don't need you to hold their hands. Those are the people you want to pour into every single day. You want to, this is a real business. You wouldn't go days without talking to your business partners, right? This is no different. I would say don't waste as much time with the people who, you've got to like hold their hand and drag them through everything. You're going to naturally have that group kind of pop up that are the runners. Now, if you don't have anybody on your team, if you're new, you need to ask yourself, are you one of those people for the person who brought you in? And the answer should always be yes, right? Step 4, always be doing 3-way calls. A mentor of mine once said, Jesse, you can dictate your check based off of how many 3-way calls you're getting and how many you're taking, right? Or how many you're doing and how many you're getting, right? Because if you're doing 3-way calls, it's because you're doing, a presentation, sit downs, you name it, right? Exposures. If you're getting them, it's because your team's doing it. If you're not getting them and you're not doing them, you're not making any money. You can dictate your check by how many 3-way calls happen within your organization every single week. So that's the DMOs. That's what your to-do list should be. I tell everybody, listen, plan your day before the day begins. Plan your week before the week begins. The people that, fail to plan to fail. It's that simple. The professionals, the people that make it, they have their week planned out. Even if you have a job, especially if you have a job, right? You gotta be somewhere. So you need to know what your free moments are to where you can put in serious work. Otherwise, you're always going to be having that job, right? Ask yourself the questions. What is the best use of my time right now? Hopefully, you're planning your week out so you really know what that is. Focus on achieving your goals. Don't confuse activity with accomplishment. I like to take that one step further. Don't confuse activity with thinking about activity, right? There's a lot of people that are exhausted at the end of the week or at the end of the day because they spent so much time thinking about Jax, thinking about building their business. There is no substitution to picking up that phone, dialing, doing sit-downs, doing 3-way calls, closing people out, launching people, doing trainings. There's no substitution for that, none. You will know if you've done it because you will be exhausted. But if you don't do it, you will just think you're exhausted and you're really not, right? And learn to say no. There's going to be people that ask you to do certain things, distractions. Hey, go to this event. Hey, let's go party. Hey, let's go do this. Just ask yourself, is it going to help you get to where you want to be? The answer is no. Well, and you're not where you want to be, right? If you are where you want to be, well, then cool. Do what you want, right? But if you're not, you got to ask yourself, is this something that I should be doing with my time? Best practices, okay? This is something that I'm going to hammer, right? This will probably be the longest page that I do, and then we're kind of wrapping up here, but hold on one second. Excuse me. Always carry Jax brochures, product flyers, and business cards with you. This is just smart, okay? Because you're going to run into professionals, you're going to run into people out there who are excited or who want to know more information. And if you don't have anything to give them, it's going to be really hard to get a hold of them, right? It's going to look really lame if you're like writing their phone number down on your palm. So have stuff with you, have business cards, have flyers, have brochures. We have all this stuff in the back office you can order. Review your Jax website and back office daily. Okay? I'd be willing to bet that there are people right now on this webinar that have not been on the back office lately. I mean, that's how you manage everything. That's how you know what's going on, new announcements, what's your organization doing, who needs to hit which rank, right? Check your back office daily, what your checks look like, right? Interact on Facebook and other social media properties. This is huge. We have a private team page, right? If you're not plugged into that already, you have to get plugged into that. Otherwise, you're missing out on everything. You're missing out on who's hitting what ranks. You're missing out on big announcements, promos, you name it. Okay, webinars, times, all that stuff. We do it all through our social media. Don't neglect social media. There's over 1 billion people on social media right now. Over 1 billion people. There's a lot of people you can reach out to on social media. Well, if the average person only knows 200 people, I definitely recommend figuring that out. It's a good way to get your people plugged in as well. Communicate with your immediate uplines or downlines. I'll tell you this. I would throw those two words out, right, out of your vocabulary. It's almost 2017. You don't want to freak anybody out. Don't say upline. Don't say downline. If you're going to say upline, say support team or leadership. If you're going to say downline, just say the team or the squad or whatever, the community, right? I don't use that word. I don't use that terminology. But you do want to communicate every single day. A mentor of mine once said, if you let people go over 48 hours without talking to them and they're in your organization, you're probably going to lose them, right? Strongly encourage all the independent reps who sign up under you to get into action as soon as they complete the 72-hour training. Got to get them on that 72-hour training. Even if it's somebody who you brought in, who brought in somebody else, make sure that person is getting launched, right? Immediately get all new independent reps to purchase a Jack system and have them become your customer first. Why is this? Well, I don't need to explain through the compensation plan. It's just obviously, you definitely want to make sure if they're going to get a system that they become the customer first, okay? But we are not salesmen here. And I want to really push that. We are not salesmen. If you don't get a system and you just sign up for $19 and you say, I'm going to just wing it, then yeah, you're going to have to be a salesman because you're going to sell somebody air. You're not showing them anything. You have no experience with the product. You're telling somebody to go watch a movie in the movie theater that you have not seen. That's weird. You're a weirdo. Don't do that. Get the system. We are here to share a product or service, right, that we have experience with. That's all this is. And then you send them to your website, right? You're not collecting the money on them right now. You're just sending them to the website. That's it. So if you don't have a system, in my opinion, you're not really serious about this business. Definitely make sure if you don't have your system, go get it, right? And insist your new independent reps set up a date and help them plan his or her first smart home party, okay? Because this is very, 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 very important. I'm going to tell you why. Number one, obviously you got to have the system right in order to have the smart home party. But here's why. Now, if you go out there, you invite a bunch of people. You help, I bring in Bob. Bob goes out there and invites a lot of people to his house. Let's say 10 people show up. Well, now we're going to share the information with Bob's 10 people. It's going to take the same amount of time to talk to them as it would to invite one person on the webinar or show one person the opportunity. So what seems more efficient, talking to 10 or talking to 1? Right? Talking to 10. That's definitely more efficient. You spend the exact same amount of time with 10 times more people. Now, let's say 3 people sign up. Well, here's the common rule. The people are going to build the business the same way that they were introduced to the business, because they're going to ask themselves when they're seeing it, can I do what he or she is doing on the side of my life? Right? Hopefully the answer is yes. Okay, so let's say you get 3 people out of that 10. Now all of a sudden 3 people, you launch them, right? You get them all prepped up, and you get them their systems. You go help them, set up their system. Now you're setting up, launch events for each one of them. Now you've got 3 parties underneath you, right, in your organization, and now you go help them. Let's say they have 5, 6, 10, 12 people at each one. Now this is called momentum. This is called duplication. You're bringing in volume. You're not just bringing in one person here and one person there and hoping one person duplicates it and, just kind of hoping, right? There's a lot of hope. No, don't do that. Everybody should have their first launch event done, where they invited everybody, right? Let's say they invited a lot of people, 30, 40 people said they can make it, 8 show up. That's okay. That's okay. Because now you get the opportunity to share the Jack's opportunity with 8 people in one room, and they can feed off of each other, right? If I'm not that excited, but I see like 5 other people getting excited, I'm like, man, maybe I need to get excited. That's crazy. What are they excited about? Maybe I'm missing it. It's very important to make sure you're doing your launch event, because if it duplicates right, you could have 20, 30, 40, 50 in-home events underneath you that you're not even at, right? You've helped people and helped people and helped people. Now it's like, 4, 5, 6, 7 levels deep in states that you're not even in. Like that's a great problem to have. Okay, these are the best practices. Now the smart home party, I'm going to just zip through this here real quick for you, okay? Have your smart home set up and fully automated with Jack Smart Home, right? That's pretty obvious, right? You don't want people to come over and have no product to show them. Create a list of prospects to invite, and then invite them. Now, my recommendation is a super easy approach. What that means is I'll hit somebody up and I'll say, hey, Bob, hey, what are you doing right now? Bob will say, oh, nothing. He's like, what's up? I'm like, hey, listen, I'm walking out of my house right now. I don't have a lot of time to talk. Okay, you always word it like that, because if you word it like that, he can't ask you a lot of questions, right? Because you're on the phone. You don't want him to ask you a lot of questions. You want him to see it, because once people see it, then they get excited. If you try to pitch it over the phone, you're screwed, right? So you want to say, hey, listen, I don't have a lot of time. I'm walking out of the house. Hey, listen, I just wanted to give you a buzz. Like, what are you doing on Saturday? If he says, I'm not doing anything, perfect. You know he can't make anything up. If he says, I'm doing something, you say, oh, hey, no worries, man. I just want to show you something that I'm working on. What day, what day are you free so I can come to you and show you what I'm working on, right? Now, what you just did is you turned somebody who couldn't come to your event, you turned it into a book sit down. Pull out your planner, find out what time, what day you can go to them and show them, right? And now you have a sit down. If they say they're not doing anything on a Saturday at 7 or whatever day you book it for, then, you kind of have them. And this is how you word it. You say, hey, listen, Bob, or Mark or whatever, right? Bob, hey, listen, I just got involved in this ground floor project. I don't think it's going to be your thing. I don't think it's going to be your thing, Bob, but hey, listen, since we're really good friends, I really want you to come over to my house with a couple other people and check out what I'm working on, because I know it's not going to be your thing, but you might know some people that it is for. And since you're my friend, I really want to get your feedback on it. I'm telling you right now, if you word it like that, chances are they don't say no, and here's why. Because they don't feel like they're getting pitched by you, right? They don't feel like you're trying to sell them. Friends don't like feeling like they're being sold by other friends. So if you word it like that, you kind of take the power away from them, and you make them feel like they're being kicked out of or they're being kept out of the Cool Kids Club, right? It's a great plan. That's the way to word it, in my opinion. Now you go through your list, and you start inviting people like that, your success rate is going to be huge, especially if you follow up with them before the event to make sure they're still coming. But you take the power from them, you make it feel like they're like, hey, well, I'm not going to share with some people, that it is for unless I see it. Like, how do you know it's not going to be for me, right? It's like psychology. It's called the super indirect approach, and you need to get good at it, because I'm telling you right now, if you get good at that, you can invite anybody to anything. Okay? And then once you're there, if you feel like you're going to have a big event, try to get some help over there. Try to get another independent rep over there to help you out. And that's it. You should share with them the opportunity. Go through the PDF is in your back office. You take your laptop, you take a cord, HDMI cord, hook it up to your TV. Boom. Now you let them play with your phone, mess with the lights, the cameras, the locks, and you're good to go. I mean, it's that simple. That's a smart home party. Maybe you get some pizza, whatever, right? Some wine, I don't know, right? But that's it. That's what a smart home event is. That's what a smart home party is. And it duplicates like crazy. Chances are they'll even have a lot of fun. And people love fun, right? Now the commitment sheet. I'm going to just zoom through this here. But if you want to get this, obviously it's in your back office. Like I said, underneath the 72-hour launch PDF. This is where it gets serious. You start saying, hey, listen, I want you to commit. Like, what kind of money do you want to make in your 6 months, year, 2 years, 5 years? Because I want to help you do it, right? How many hours a week are you willing to work on your Jax business? I want you to commit to at least 1 year and not look back, right? Get them to talk about dates that they're going to hit goals on. Senior director, what day of what month, right? Are you willing to hit senior? Are you going to try to hit senior director on? And I tell them, like, don't put that date down unless you're serious about going out there and making it happen. Make sure they know what the rank entails. Okay. Then you say, get them to commit to events, right? Get them to commit to being coachable. Get them to commit to showing up. Right? You go through this, guys, as you're looking at the screen, you can see different things, as far as like getting them to commit, but it's all about commitment, setting the tone, having posture, letting them know, listen, it's not going to be easy. You're in business for yourself, but guess what? You're not by yourself. I'm here to help you. That's what the commitment sheet is all about. It really just puts a cap on everything that we talked about and getting them to commit to what we're working on. So with that, you guys, I'm going to wrap this thing up. I want to thank you. I want to thank every single person for getting on here, right? We're kind of coming to the end of the year. This recording, I hope worked. Hope it's the first time I tried to record it. My little goal, my little recommendation for everybody that's on here is if you haven't already set up your first in-home event, do so, okay? Because if you haven't, you've been in a while, you're behind. If you already have your system set up and you haven't, you're behind. You need to set up your first in-home event, and you need to practice that super indirect approach. The first couple invites are going to be tough, right? Just like anything, it's always tough. Then it gets easier, right? It just gets easier. And I'm telling you, your ratio will go up because people don't feel like you're pitching them. You're telling them, hey, listen, I don't think it's going to be your thing, but listen, we're friends. Check it out because you might know some people that it is for. Your feedback would mean a lot. That's just golden. That's what it's all about, okay? The person that doesn't skip these steps, the person that goes through all these steps that we went over and does them and becomes somewhat of a master, right? That's the person that's going to have a lot of success in this industry. That's going to be one of the top earners in Jax. It's just, this is how you build, right? I can lead you to water. I can lead a horse to water. I can't make him drink. That's what it's all about. I can give you the information. The person that takes this information and does something with it, that's going to be the person that has success. So set up your first in-home event, and let's go out there and have the biggest week ever and close out this week strong. A lot of people are going to wait till New Year's to actually build, and I'm telling you that is a mistake. You want to recruit to recruit. Right now, the more people you bring in, right, because New Year's on, it's busy. You can go out there and get a lot of people. But imagine if your team was 5 or 10 times bigger than it is right now before New Year's. Now all of a sudden you have a lot of people who can go out there and bring in a lot of people instead of just 100% of your own efforts. So that's what I'm telling you guys right now. Now is the time. Plan your week before the week begins. Plan your in-home event, and let's go out there and rock it. So with that, I'm going to let you all go. Thank you so much for tuning in. There will be hopefully a recording of this on YouTube or something. I will figure it out, and we will get it out to people. So with that, take care, and have a happy holidays and Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year.